Good evening, guys, and welcome to the Trash Pusher Show. Today, I was helping my dad on the farm, and on the way back in, he decided to stop into a place called Home Savers. Now, I've been to Home Savers a couple of times. They do different stuff, kind of food, homewares, a lot of different bric-a-brac, but for some strange reason, they get in these collector kind of scale figures. They got in Doctor Who collectibles, they got in Star Trek, the Mego Star Trek figures, and they also got in these Walking Dead figures, these are the kind of things you'd see in a comic book shop, but obviously they've made some deal with some company to get these figures in bulk at discount. And as I said, I had been in there before. I picked up a Mego Star Trek set, and I had picked up another figure from this line. I had picked up Omega from the Walking Dead line. Yeah, this is the McFarlane Walking Dead Real Apocalypse Hero line. And if you can't tell by the name, you can definitely tell by the packaging. This is kind of a play on the G.I. Joe figurine line with the Real Apocalypse Hero and the aesthetic of the packaging. So the character I got is Alpha. Now, I think a lot of people had tuned out by the end of the whole Negan kind of war story in the Walking Dead series. But in the comics, later on, as the story progresses, our characters encounter a group called the Whisperers. And these are people that adorn themselves in rotten flesh in order to kind of blend in and essentially travel in groups of walkers, in groups of the zombies, in order to kind of sway herds towards different populations and basically kind of trick the walkers into attacking their enemies. And they are led by both Alpha and Omega. Now, as I said before, I got Omega the last time I was in Home Savers, so it only made sense that I pick up Alpha. And in the Walking Dead TV series, if I'm not mistaken, she was played by Samantha Morton, who is a fantastic actress. I'd seen a couple of episodes featuring her character, and I think she done an admirable job. The character in the comic is pretty creepy and pretty engaging, but I think after Negan, you were never going to top any other Walking Dead villain. Be it Jeffrey Dean Morgan's performance, which I think could have been a bit better, or the character in the comic. Negan is the kind of peak of villainy in the Walking Dead series. But I digress. This is essentially the kind of G.I. Joe representation of Alpha with the color scheme and stuff. I'll just show you the packaging there. Again, the whole kind of decal is to make it look like a G.I. Joe figure. You have a cool picture of Alpha there with her sawn-off shotgun and the sinister belt buckle and the raggedy kind of Walker-esque clothes. There she is in her bubble. And it just says Alpha, Lucille Patrol Assassin. And again, just a lot of aesthetics that are very reminiscent of the old G.I. Joe packaging. And here is a look at the back. And yeah, modern survival horror figures. The Walking Dead Real Apocalypse Heroes. So there's two groups you can get. The Lucille Patrol, savage tyrants who declared war against humanity. Through fear and superior firepower, they seek to rule the land of the dead over the bodies of the living. So yeah, in this line, Mega Box exclusive, Dwight, so you have to probably get him in a particular kind of set. And you also get Negan, the Governor, Alpha and Beta. And then you have Sheva Force, which is a play on Tiger Force. That was a G.I. Joe line that had very kind of radical kind of colours and paint schemes. And their kind of camouflage gear and their vehicles all had a tiger colour scheme, which was kind of cool, but it's a bit silly when you think about it in relation to any kind of military figures. But yeah, I digress. Sheva Force, elite merchants of death in a post-apocalyptic war for survival. They've salvaged the best weapons this dead world has to offer to eliminate all threats to civilization, whether living or undead. So the Mega Box exclusive for this line is Jesus. There's Rick with his Tiger Force shirt. Michonne, Ezekiel, and Sheva. And here again, like the G.I. Joes, is a file card. So Alpha, Lucille Patrol Assassin. File name, Alpha. Primary survival specialty, whispering. Birthplace, the end of civilization. Alpha is the master of the Horde, the largest weaponized mass of walkers on the eastern seaboard. She wears the skin of the dead at all times, allowing her to move freely among them, striking at her enemies unseen as they flee in terror. And there is a blurb at the bottom. There can't be a shred of humanity left in Alpha, especially not after living in a skin suit for so long. We've all done horrible things to survive. That's nothing you can ever come back from. Whoever Alpha truly is died a long time ago. So yeah, that's the Alpha file card. And yeah, I'm going to crack this figure open. And when we get back, we shall have a closer look at the figure. So don't go anywhere. I shall be right back. And we are back. And here is Alpha out of her packaging. Let's have a closer look at the figure. So again, they're trying to do the whole G.I. Joe thing. So there's more than 5 POA in this figure. But it is incredibly stiff. I mean, the Omega figure I got, he wasn't near as stiff as this. Do that. Very limited kind of joints. See about turning the head. Oh, that is super stiff. You know what? I actually think, yeah. See, it's the mask. The mask is actually molded into the same shape as the kind of collar. So it's essentially static. Like you'll risk pulling off the head. The head isn't difficult to put back on, but it's just a really bad design for a figure. Again, the color scheme is nice and the molding is nice, but articulation wise, I've seen Chap May figures with better articulation that don't feel as fragile. You can do that. She can do the Van Dams. The painting is nice. They're more based on the comic book versions. And she comes with this sawn-off double-barrel shotgun, which has to go into her hand via a peg. There's a hole there. See if she can hold it. It would have been better if they just actually left it as just a gripping hand. This is disappointing. We'll see. I'll see about getting it in. No. See the other hand. Maybe it'd be better. Yeah. You're better off. Forget the peg. Use the other hand. There's a bit of detailing on the shotgun. There's kind of supposed to be grime and kind of maybe a wood finish, but by and large it's not great. I think they just should have had the hands more kind of open palm than anything, because that hole in the handle serves no purpose, because it sure as shit will not fit into that hand. I'll try and see, you gotta stretch out the hand maybe, but still, if they had just made it that the palm was just that bit wider, you wouldn't have needed a peg. I don't even think it can fit in properly. No, it can't. So yeah, that is Alpha, and I have to say she's nowhere near as good as the Omega figure. The Omega figure has way better articulation. The molding isn't problematic for kind of posing the figure. Again, just the head's going to pop off if you try and turn it. They should have just maybe kind of worked it into the skin instead of just having molded the collar, because that's just a pain in the butt. Nice sculpt, nice color, nice idea, bad execution. But yeah guys, I am going to pause the video, and when I come back I'll see how Alpha scales up to some other figures. Don't go anywhere. I shall be right back. And we are back. And there is Alpha in my throne room. And since I have Alpha, I said I'd break out her comrade, Omega. And yeah, you might think, Jesus, the scale is super off. It's actually not. Because if you've read the comics or watched the TV show, Omega is a fucking beast. He's absolutely huge. So it does make sense that he towers over Alpha. And again, this guy, maybe it's his larger scale that kind of allows him for better articulation, but I think he is the superior of the two figures. I think that just that he's that bit bigger, there's more room to put in articulation, a better articulation, if anything. And she suffers because she's kind of in the classic. I'm not going to say 3 3/4 because she's definitely bigger than 3 3/4, but they wanted to go for the GI Joe scale or the Action Force scale, and they ended up with that to show you the deviation between kind of her and a standard 3 3/4. I'm actually going to put this Star Wars Snowtrooper next to her. And again, she's way bigger, so they kind of cheated a bit in trying to make these out to be the GI Joe scale. She's a good bit bigger than the 3 3/4, and to show you how she'd scale up to say a Kenner figure, here is my Jurassic Park Alan Grant, and she's even bigger than a Kenner figure. So they're trying to go for the whole GI Joe 3 3/4 kind of scale and size for a figure, but they don't even do that right. The figure's articulation is definitely left wanting, particularly in the head. I mean, you shouldn't have to worry about a figure's head popping off when you turn it. And I think put in the fucking clip in the hand so the shotgun can go into the hand. It's just stupid. Just make the grip on the other hand bigger. It still works to just have her holding the shotgun like that. But yeah, guys, what do you think? Would you get this figure? I wouldn't recommend it. I just got this figure because I was in Home Savers. I had gotten Omega. I was like, okay, I'll get Alpha. She was not expensive. That's the cool thing about Home Savers. You can get stuff that you'd get in a comic book store that would bleed you dry for tuppence. But and I'm glad she wasn't expensive because she wouldn't be worth the amount considering the issues with the articulation and just how silly some of the choices were made in this figure. Nice sculpt, nice color scheme, but just bad construction of a figure. But I think if you're a Walking Dead fan and you do want to pick this up, maybe leave it on card because it's articulation wise, it's very limited. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this figure, and also who is your favorite villain in the Walking Dead universe, be it the comics or the TV show. Is it Negan? Is it the Governor? Is it Alpha? Let me know in the comments below, and yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.